hit the go live button. So I think we are live. If we are live and you can hear us, say hello, give us a wave, depending on where you are watching. Just say hi in the chat box. Tell us where you're tuning in from, so we know that there is somebody out there listening to us, and then we can get started very shortly. So come on, don't be shy. Give us some love. Say hello in the chat box. We've got the lovely Bev Flanagan here today to talk to you and inspire you with her journey. So who do we have? Say hello. I'm just going to check whether I can see there are some people watching already. So say hello. Tell me where you're tuning in from. Give us some love. Thank you very much. Things that people do not expect of an accountant has just said hi. I'm guessing that's your name. Hey, Tessin, good to see you here. Hello there, Tej from Southampton. Oh, just down the road from where I am. Good to see you here as well. It's the Facebook user again. Yeah. So if you're on Facebook, there's a little link you've just got to click on the post above so we can see your name. But what I'll do, I'll try and get it up on my phone as well so I can see who it is that is making those comments. Otherwise, we'll just get lots of Facebook users talking to us. So just give me a second to do that. Andrew, thank you for clarifying that. Good to see you here, Andrew, and I hope you're doing well. Okay, brilliant. Oh, that was Sharon. Fantastic. Hi there, Sharon. That was Sharon saying hello from Facebook. I can actually show these comments on screen. So there was Andrew saying hi. There's Tessin. There's Tej. That was Sharon, and that's Andrew again. Hello there, Odemir, and hello there to you, Lorraine. Okay, well, let's get started. So as always with these sessions, if you have a question, then put it in to the comments box, and I shall post them I'll ask them to Bev as we get through the rest of this conversation, which will last about half an hour, 40 minutes or so. So hello, everyone, and I'm pleased to have with me today someone that is truly amazing, inspirational, and someone I've had a pleasure of working with over the last year or so. Welcome to you, Bev. Hello there, Bev.
Flipping heck, you're making me a bit embarrassed here, Reza. Hello, everybody, and hi.
Thank you. So today's session is with Bev. As you know, I do these series of accountants live, talking to accountants, great accountants doing some great things, so we can help each other. We can take inspiration and motivation from other accountants who perhaps have been in your shoes not so long ago, and by them talking about the things that they have done to get results means that you can absolutely do the same. And we're very fortunate to have platforms like this where we can do this now. We've got some great community going on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube, depending on where you're watching this. And I think this is now series 19 or so. So if you haven't already checked out the others, they're all on the YouTube channel of mine, or you can check out the podcast, which is Transform Your Profits for Accountants, on your favorite podcast app. So enough yakking, let's get on with it. So to begin with, this is all going to be about Bev and how she has amazingly tripled her fees in less than 12 months. I'm really excited to hear Bev talk about this. But to begin with, so any questions, just fire away, put them in the comments section, depending on where you're watching this. And I will, as I see them, I will fire them to Bev. So just to begin with, Bev, give us a brief introduction about yourself, and we'll just take it from there.
Yeah, so as Reza said, I'm Bev Flanagan. My company's Mind Your Assets Accounts. We're actually based in Sheffield, which is in South Yorkshire. We're 100% in the cloud. I've run my business now for, I think I'm in the 14th year. But even though I'm in my 14th year, I'm still learning like everybody is. Always been in finance. My last employee job, I was one of the financial controllers for a few of the Daily Mail companies. So, but yeah, loving working for myself and loving being part of this group.
Fantastic, Bev. So talk to us, go back in time to when you started. Why did you start your firm? Why did you start your practice? And what did you have in mind when you first started it in terms of the service offering, the kind of clients that you're going to deal with, given your background was not from practice itself, but from an industry background?
Yeah, well, I didn't know what to expect, if I'm being totally honest with you. So when I said that I worked for the Daily Mail, yeah, like I said, I was one of the financial controllers there. We all, I loved that job. It was absolutely amazing. It was brilliant. I had a really good team around me. I looked after a team of 14 people. I was the FC, there was the FD above me. And the reason for leaving there was redundancy, because at that time, I can't remember how many thousands it was of excuse me, small little companies that the Daily Mail and General Trust Group had underneath its wings at that time. It were thousands, but we all did our own thing in our own accounting software, in our own time. There were no cloud accounting software then. It was just literally all Sage Desktop. And the head office in Derry Street in London needed to create a bit of uniformity and everybody adhere to the same deadlines, etc. So they created a massive shared accounting centre in Leicester. Nothing wrong with Leicester, but I didn't want to relocate from Sheffield. So that's the reason why I got made redundant. It was a nice redundancy, if there is such a thing. It was there for a good 6 months after that. And just to make sure that everything went smoothly. But I always remember that exactly the day. I can see it in my mind now, that I sat down with my FD, who I still talk to this very day. He's a lovely man. And I said to him, I think I might try and give it a go myself and have my own accounting practice. And he said, well, why not? Just give it a go. You know, I had a decent redundancy package at the time. So paying myself wasn't an issue, if that makes sense. And I actually thought to myself, look, I'm going to give it a year. If it doesn't work, I can easily just go back and get another job. Touch wood, 14 years later. And so sorry, Reza, I've got to do this. And now Yorkshire Accountant of the Year. You knew that I'd have to come in somewhere, didn't you?
You beat me to it, Bev. Obviously, I was going to.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's glued to my side. But yeah, going back to what you said, I didn't know what to expect. I knew I'm quite an ambitious person. If I put my mind to something, I have to see it through. I don't give up on things. And yeah, 14 years later, I'm still here. I didn't come from practice, so that was totally new to me. I sort of winged it along the way for the first few years. The first few years, I gained clients that were my friends and people that also got made redundant from the Daily Mail, that they started their own companies. So yeah, I didn't have any systems or anything in place at the time because I didn't know what systems I needed. I just literally, like I said, I just winged it and just did what I thought was best to do.
Brilliant. Excellent. So how did you go about, in the initial stages about, finding clients and, pricing clients, and what kind of clients did you go out for? What were you doing? And given that you didn't have any experience in practice, how did you learn how to do, tax returns and year-end accounts and stuff, which you probably wouldn't have encountered in your previous roles?
Yeah. So I can't remember what the first thing you said was. How did I get clients? So I've never, even to this day, I've had to advertise. It's always been word of mouth and referrals. So once I started getting one client, then it was like, oh, they're doing okay for me, and they're talking to the mate down the pub or at the school gates, and oh, Bev does my accounts, and it just sort of started like that. So I never had to advertise, and naturally I just started gaining clients until I was at the point where I needed to take staff on. There wasn't enough hours in the day, but I didn't have no plan. I know this is rubbish, and going back in hindsight, I would do this, but you can't change time. But it was just literally, I was just taking clients on. There was I didn't have any sort of niche marketing skills like I've got now, and I now mainly deal with construction and trades clients. But then it was just taking anybody and everybody on. Pricing, what was that then? Like I said, I winged it. I would just literally, I think that I should charge that, right, I'll charge that. And that's how I did it for a few years, which I know now looking back was wrong. But like I said, you can't change things. And if I know what I know now, then I would totally redo it. But, I've got to this point in time and I'm really happy where I am now. But yeah, even if, and I always tell this to people, I think I just get clients just for the sake of getting them. Well, we've got another client today. Even if I weren't making money on it, I'd still take the client on for the sake of taking a client on, which I know sounds bizarre, but when you're inexperienced in being a business owner, because I was really good at being a financial controller, loved that job, knew it inside out, but starting my own business, I can do the accounts, but I ain't got a clue on pricing, marketing, sales, all that. So I just had to learn it along the way.
Brilliant. And so given your industry background, did you kind of lead with looking after the client's bookkeeping and providing management accounts and giving them a flavor of having that kind of a high level support from a quasi FC or an FD. Did you lead with that to get the clients that you did at the outset?
No, I think I took it a step backwards, to be honest. At first, I didn't actually even do year-end accounts. I was just promoting myself more of a bookkeeper and payroll, so just doing the bookkeeping and the payroll. And I worked alongside accountants back in the day when I first started. I think just because due to my inexperience of being a business owner, it was a business owner thing that I lacked experience in. So I think just to gather a bit of momentum, I just sort of took it a little bit of a step back. So I didn't do any management accounts, I didn't do any year ends. It was mainly just bookkeeping and payroll services and self-assessment tax returns in the beginning.
Fantastic. And so when did you actually start to then roll out the high level services? Was that a recent thing, or did it happen over a number of years?
I think that happened within the last 5 years that started. So I created my limited company right from the beginning, and I rebranded about 5 years ago to Mind Your Assets Accounts, because I wanted to be, I could see then I'd got a bit of experience in the accounting world and seeing other accountants and things like that. And yeah, I didn't want to be known as just the same stereotypical boring accountant. And I wanted to stand out a bit more. So I think that at that point then, about 5 years ago, I rebranded, changed my business name, had a trading as business name that's a little bit quirky, it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but that's how I want to be, and I want it to be approachable for clients, and it does definitely work. Started to get a bit obsessed with the purple, so everybody knows that I love purple, and that's part of my branding as well, and that's an obvious effort that I've done, so people know that's Mind Your Assets if they see my logo and they see me. But then that's the time then I just literally did everything. Look, I can do year-end accounts. Why am I letting somebody else do it? I can just do it. There's not that much more to it to finish it off, if that makes sense, than to pass it over to somebody else. I want that revenue. I want to be able to do all of it and offer that full service, that full accounting service.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so kind of moving on to the meat of the heart of the session about how did you go about trebling your average fees over the last 12 months? I know we've been working together for a little while now. So talk to me about before you kind of managed to get these successes. What were the challenges? What were the problems that you were facing, or what you just simply didn't know how to do before you then started to make some changes and get the results that you have done? So what were you doing before?
Winging it, like I said. and we've had this conversation between ourselves and in the WhatsApp groups with the other people in the group, but just for everybody else watching, I price things as I thought was right. I didn't have any help with that. I was very, very, very naive. I wouldn't even talk to another accountant or another bookkeeper in any social media groups. If somebody friend requested me on LinkedIn or Facebook that was an accountant, I was shocked. Why do they want to talk to me? They're going to pinch my clients. They're going to copy me, blah, blah, blah. Absolutely so stupid. And that's one of the most daft things I've ever done. But in the last few years, being in a group like yours and being with other accountants has massively helped me. Massive. In the last 2 years, like since I've known you, Reza, it's just totally changed. And I'm not just saying this just because you're on here. I'd said this to anybody anyway, but having you as a coach, and because you're an accountancy specific coach, because I've had coaches in the past and they've worked, they've been brilliant. That's massively helped on my systems and all stuff like that, social media presence and things. But by having an accountancy specific coach when you're an accountant is the best thing that I've ever done in the 14 years, because people around you have done things before you. They know what the pitfalls are. They know what not to do. And everybody's just so helpful with each other. And that's how I've then picked up the momentum and started thinking, hold on a minute, I need to do a bit more with my pricing here. Because I used to do letter of engagements, but manual letter of engagements, which is so time consuming. So in the last year and a half, 18 months, I've massively spent time, not so much money because everything's relatively inexpensive these days, but time. I've spent a lot of time in my systems working with you, Reza, and I've literally gone through every single pricing aspect in my firm. Like now, I'm very, very comfortable, and it's not a pick a number out of the air type thing. So previously, I just used to, for limited companies, just used to have one price, and there was no logic to this. It was just, I thought it was an okay price. Did a little bit of market research, thought it ends in a 9, so it's got to be good. And I just typically just used to charge everybody £269 a month, no matter how big or small they were, no matter how many transactions that client had, no matter where they were from, no matter what industry they were in. And I thought that was the okay thing to do. But wow, I was leaving money on the table left, right, and centre.
Absolutely. So, after working together on pricing, talk to us about some of the results that you have got since.
Massive eye opener. So I never used to sort of go back and do the check-in. Well, I never used to charge on transactions because I thought that's a right headache. I can never do that. How time consuming is that to just keep going back to somebody saying, oh, you've had a few more transactions this quarter, so I need to charge a bit more. But no, you need to do that. And the systems and things that you work with these days all give it to you anyway. It's not a case that you've got to sit down with your bank statements and add it up line by line manually. But yeah, so I was chucking money away. Sorry, Yorkshire. That's a Yorkshire word. Throwing money away, left, right, and centre for stuff like that. But also, I was doing work for people, but weren't charging for it. I was just having like a generic, this is my fee, this covers everything basically. And I did it. I was adding, obviously, I add value to my clients, but I wasn't adding value to me and my firm because, like, I always remember, Reza, you telling me, how can I scope for stuff like that? Like if a client's like turning over, I don't know, £500,000, and then in 3 months' time, because he's had his industry's picked up, he's now turning over 1.5 million. But I've got nothing in my terms and conditions, letter of engagement that says, right, as you grow, we grow with you. And that was like a massive eye opener for me, massive.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, I think you were well positioned to actually take advantage of the change that this tech has allowed us to work much more closer with our clients than ever before. And given your practice background, industry background, and the fact that you have acted as an FC and FD in other companies, you're well positioned to take on board that finance function of a business. You were already doing it, and then through the conversations we had and how to communicate your value, you then implement. You took action. You took the brochures, the virtual finance office brochure, and were able to communicate the value of what you do, which is a massive opportunity for us at the moment because of what's happened over the pandemic, and also tech enabling us to work with any client anywhere in the country to be able to deliver that service of managing their finance function much more cost effectively than them having to hire in-house people. What are some of the monetary results that you have got since making those changes? So you went from charging just $269 a month. What are some of the results that you've got in the last few months from actually now being able to communicate your value a lot better?
So exactly what you've just said. I actually had a client that got two limited companies that we've been doing their accounts for the last, I'd say, 4 years. And as soon as I was implementing the virtual finance officer function that you gave us the literature for, and I just literally had it done in my branding that very morning. The timing couldn't have been, well, it was perfect. One of my clients get on really well with him. He sent me an email that morning just basically saying, thanks so much for everything you've done for us, Bev, and your team, but we're growing rapidly and we need somebody in-house. And I'm like, no, you don't. We can do that for you. So just because I'd got that brochure ready, I sent it to him, fired it straight over to him, said, right, let's have a Zoom. We had a Zoom straight away, I think the following day when he was available. And he signed up instantly. He was going to take on an in-house person, but it was just a tiny little bit more that he needed from us. And it's all virtual, obviously. I don't need to be sat in his office or anything like that. So his businesses, so I was charging the standard $269 a month for him. Now, one of those is £800 a month and the other one is £1,100. For not a lot more work, and he's ecstatic because he's kept me, because we've got a very good working relationship together. He knows that I know his company's inside out. He knows I know his accounting, and he's paying me a lot less than it would do for him to get somebody in-house. We've also just took another client on that starts in the new year, and that's another virtual finance office function service. And that's 24,000 a year that we've signed up for for us being their VFO, which they're extremely happy with. And once I met them, sent them my proposal, they signed it electronically signed it, I think within about 15 minutes, and signed the direct debit and everything. So
amazing. Amazing.
VFO, the way, I've just done a phrase. VFO, the way to go.
Absolutely. It is the way to go. That's fantastic. And you can see here, it's not just trebled, that's more than trebled. I mean,
Yeah.
269 a month, what's that? Just over sort of 3.5 grand or so, whatever it is, coming to 24,000. That is a massive difference for, like you say, you're kind of already doing the work anyway. And I love seeing people like you, Bev, take action, because I've been harping on about this for a while now, but this is the future. This is a huge opportunity for us accountants to actually stand up and do what we were trained to do. We're trained to do this stuff, but for far too long, we have taken that recurring fee model and become complacent with it, that we just got clients coming back to us year after year. We do the year-end accounts. Thank you very much. See you later. Yeah. But we've got to step up now and actually do what we were trained to do. Tech is helping with that. The pandemic has helped with that. There's a silver lining that we can work with any client anywhere, and we can actually make a difference to these clients' lives, because they need financial input. Small businesses need financial input, but they can't afford a financial director and a finance manager and a bookkeeper and an accounts payable and an accounts receivable person in-house. We can provide that full suite of services much more cost effectively and add real value to their lives. And by doing so, we can deliver it a lot more efficiently, and we can take a share of that value we create, which, as you said, when we reframe the solution, so it's no longer, clients are no longer comparing to what they're previously paying their accountant for a year-end service. They are now comparing us to, or these are the conversations you should have, and what brochures help you to do is to have the conversations like, if you were to get this level of input in-house, it's going to cost you 50, 60, 70, 80,000 pounds. We can do it for 25,000. It's win-win, win for you, win for them. So that's amazing. How do you actually, so you're doing all this. Talk to us about the size of your team, who does what systems do you have in place to actually deliver this service kind of on a typical weekly basis?
Okay, so there's currently 4 of us. I'm on the lookout for another person as well at the moment. I'm still very much in the business, but I'm a little bit of a control freak. So I like to be there at the heart and knowing what everyone's doing and is up to. But going back on that, I do know what everybody's up to and where everybody's at, because the systems that I've implemented, like I said earlier, I've spent a lot of time and effort in getting the job management system that we use and CRM really up to a scale that now I can't live without it. Am I allowed to say which one it is?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right. So everybody knows anyway that I'm Centre's #1 fan. So I'm actually still waiting for the T-shirt. So they need to pull the finger out. But no, I love Centre. I looked at a lot of the other ones when I first started and decided that Excel was no longer suitable for my firm. But Centre for me is just brilliant. It's so flexible. I love how you can just adapt it to how you run your firm. So I know exactly who's doing what at any time, at what stage jobs are up to. And like I said, I just can't live without it now. But I've done it in a way as well that all the softwares, they all synchronize with each other. I just don't want to be messing about doing manual things. Nobody should be messing about doing manual things. So we predominantly use QuickBooks. That's my preferred choice of accounting software. We do use Xero as well, but I do prefer QuickBooks. We use Go Proposal for his proposals and letters of engagement. That all synchronizes with Go Cardless, synchronizes with QuickBooks. We use Tax Filer alongside that as well. So I've got quite a good stack of apps that all talk to each other, and it's great. You do really have to spend time to get it to that point, but once you do, it's brilliant.
Fantastic. And you do daily, weekly bookkeeping for majority of your clients?
We do, yeah, which I know a lot of people think is crazy, but it's not. And if you're on it and you can just do daily bookkeeping for us is just consists of doing using Dex. I forgot to mention that as well. So Dex, so we get clients to upload their purchases to Dex. We every day have got a checklist, and we just make sure we go through what they've updated in the last 24 hours. We just push it through, make sure everything's correct, and then we'll make sure that the bank feed's working and deal with the money's in and the money's out for that day. So it sounds a bit crazy that we do daily bookkeeping, but it's not a massive task because we've got it systemized. And then on a weekly basis, we're asking for missing stuff. So when we say to our clients, when our clients say, why should we work for you? Well, not only we're Yorkshire Accountant of the Year. But you know, we always say that if you work with us, your accounts are up to date in real time, and we really mean that. So I can't say it if I don't mean it. So that's how it needs to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of accountants kind of, you know, probably, well, I know they struggle with getting clients to submit information to them electronically. So still dealing with paper bags and scanning and stuff like that. What do you have to say to them? How do you get your clients to do what you tell them and send information to you via text every time?
Well, I'm quite persuasive, Reza. No, if clients want to work with us, they if they've done research on us and seen that on social media, they'll know that we are really high up with all these systems, and they just, I know it sounds a bit harsh, but we just won't take them on if they're the big carry bag full of receipt clients. It's just, it's just not how we work anymore. We'll be too expensive anyway, because I can't be bothered getting the bags of receipts. First of all, unscrewing them because they'll be all screwed up in a little ball. Then you've got to mess about trying to get it in your scanner. Oh, no, we don't work with clients like that anymore. Sorry.
Absolutely.
We've got to work with how the systems that we've adapted to work with us. Otherwise, it's benefit to them as well. And you'll find, because a lot of our clients are construction, some of them are a little bit and not, how do I say this without sounding horrible? They're not very good with technology. But once we have our onboarding meeting with them and we show them exactly what to do on the mobile phone, they're like, oh, this is easy. Yeah, that's brilliant. And then, so I think it's just that the holding the hand and helping them, just showing them, right, this is how you do it. It's like literally 3 steps to it. And then that's it. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's easy. Yeah. So it's fine.
Exactly. No, I love that. Actually being really clear on who your clients are and knowing your internal systems. And that is the basis on which you take clients on. And it's no different to, you know, things that we buy from other service providers. You know, you walk into to buy a coffee from Starbucks. You're not going to bring your own beans and say, yeah, I'm happy for you to use your machine, but you can use our beans. Or, yeah, use your beans, but I want you to, you know, do the milk in a certain way. This is how you should do it. They know what they're doing. They've got their system. You go there, you pay for the service, and then you follow their system. And like you say, be really crystal clear on who it is that you're serving, and then take those clients on that are happy to work in the way that you dictate. Fantastic. And I'm glad, you know, the daily, weekly bookkeeping is really it's a highly valuable service to clients, because it gives you the opportunity to have regular touch points. So you're constantly talking to the client, you're asking them for information, which is a good thing, because it helps your team to get more closer to the client. It helps your team to pick up any questions they may have, any problems they may have. So the more touch points you have, the better. The more touch points we have with our clients, the more value we're providing, the more they feel that you know, they're getting value from us. The danger comes with the year-end model. It's going to become more and more commoditized. So if you are just doing year-end accounting, then sooner or later that is going to become a very price-sensitive area to be in. So we need to change tact and actually move towards that real-time ongoing service to the clients throughout the course of the year.
And you know, a lot of these touch points, Reza, as well, they are in my center as automatic emails, but how we word them, it won't come across to the clients as if it's an automatic email. It'll look like we've literally typed it out. So that's another thing that I definitely recommend to people to do. Don't make it so robotic.
Definitely. No, absolutely. It's a good tip there. Okay, any questions? Put them in the comments section of wherever you are listening. We have I think, Anne, your question was answered. I think you asked it straight as Bev was talking about it. What systems or apps do you use in your business? Ted has got a question here. You've mentioned a lot of different software solutions. How did you narrow down on the ones to go with? Do some seem better than others, therefore make it easier to choose? We use QuickBooks. Well
done with QuickBooks. It's the best, in my opinion. Do you know what? I am one of those people that I like shiny new things. So if something comes on the market, I will have to have a look at it. But I also know that my time's valuable. So I won't go with something just because everybody else is using it. You know, like the big hoo-ha that Centre had when Iris bought it. A lot of people just jumped ship straight away. Well, I didn't. I've stuck with it, and it's one of the best things I've ever done because it's brilliant. But no, I think just having a play around with things. All these software, there's loads of softwares out there, isn't there? That all do the same thing. It's purely down to your personal preference, and you yourself have got to have a little play with the trials. have a look around, see what's best suited for you in your practice. I'm quite a visual person, so that's why I quite like Centre, because it's very colourful and it's very organised, and it's very sort of strict with the tasks and how it's set out, and flexible that I can change it. So my advice is just, it's down to personal preference. Don't go with what other people are saying, because that might not be right for you in your practice. Have a play with them. Again, yeah, it's time consuming, but if you invest that time in the long run, it will definitely pay dividends.
Fantastic. Absolutely. I forgot to ask, actually, you don't use timesheets, do you, Bev?
No.
No.
As if I could say yeah in front of you. No, we don't know.
Okay, so I mean, the accountants who do will be saying, well, how on earth can you manage your team without timesheets? What do you have to say to that?
Well, my team are that brilliant. How we do things, it's just all in Centre. Well, in conjunction with Centre and our diaries, we've got our default diaries, so we know exactly in our diaries what we've got to do each week. The recurring tasks are all set up. A lot of the stuff is linked to Centre, so I don't need to know how long they're spending on something, because I already know, because it's all there. It's all there. Unless it's a new job, but I still wouldn't do time. I'd never price on time. It's always on value, not time. Definitely. Am I allowed to mention about the Vat Return Client as well at this point, just because we just mentioned that?
Go for it.
So I had a client that's come to me a few months ago, that he's a builder, and his mate did his accounts, Dodgy Dave, the accountant down the pub. And he said to me that he knows he should have been VAT registered, but he ain't got a clue about all that stuff, because he just builds houses. So took him on. It should have been VAT registered 5 years ago. So I'm now doing a 5-year VAT return, for one long 5-year VAT return. But again, pricing, I didn't know how to do that. Did it on Res has got another resource on how to price a project, because that's like a project really, isn't it? It's a one-off thing to catch up. I think in my mind I had about 3-4 grand I'd charge him to do 5 years, but actually going through step by step, seeing the value of what I'm going to be adding to this guy, like all those pressures and all the strains of him dealing with HMRC himself, and he definitely don't want Dodgy Dave dealing with HMRC. That came out over £11,000, and he signed up straight away and paid me immediately before I even started the work. So I never ever charge on time. It's always value.
Absolutely. Fantastic. And then how do you know you're making profit then?
How do I know I'm making profit? Because I do my KPIs like you tell us to.
And your bank balance.
And my bank balance, yes.
Fantastic. Good stuff. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, what other questions do we have? Here's one from Susan. So what software do you use to determine growth in clients? You can go back to them with a price increase.
So we use SIFT, SYFT. So we use SIFT to do management accounts. We also use Dext as well. So between the two, on a quarterly basis, I can see if there's been any increase in payroll numbers, if there's been any increases in turnover, and if there's been any increases in number of transactions that we're dealing with. That's all part and parcel of our letter of engagement now, that it gets reviewed. Payroll gets reviewed every month. Bookkeeping type activities get reviewed every quarter. So yeah, like I said earlier, I don't physically sit down with bank statements and add them up. It's all through the softwares that I use.
Absolutely. Yeah, software can save us so much time these days, and help with integrating these systems to assist with the reprices with clients if there's been a change in scope or preference. Okay, here's a question from Ahmed for you. What was your biggest fear with repricing your clients, and what was your biggest learning after you repriced your clients?
Biggest fear that they're going to leave, and that revenue's lost, which again was a little bit silly, because once you've built that relationship up with your clients, you start to become a trusted advisor, and they trust what you say. And we did have one client, again, the magic £269 a month. This is another client, different to what I mentioned earlier. He pays us about £700 a month now, and to be honest, he was like more or less begging me to tell him what else we do, because he was a growing business, and he actually looked around at other accountants, because I didn't tell him the value of the other stuff that we could do at the time. It was just like the compliance stuff. So he said, "Oh, I've looked at somebody else and they charged this. I think they were charging like £450 a month, and these are what they do. And I said, no, we can definitely do that for you. This is before I started all my VFO stuff and things like that. But so yeah, we still got that client today, and he pays me about, I think, £700-800 a month. But yeah, the clients actually want you to tell them about all the other stuff that you can do. They're not just bothered about, a lot of the clients aren't just bothered about the VAT returns and the payroll. They want management accounts, they want cash flow forecasts and things. But in my experience, they want you to tell them rather than them asking you. So it's a bit scary at first doing that. But what I did for management account side of things as well, and I've not rolled this out to all my clients yet, I've just done it for a few for now, is SIFT, what I use, like I mentioned earlier, you pay a fixed fee per month, so it's not per client. And I just did some management accounts packs for those clients, for some clients, and just sent it to them saying, this is what we can do for you in the future. Let me know if you like it. Did it all on a Loom video, sent it to him, and about 75% of those came back saying, oh yeah, we'll have them every month or every quarter. But they didn't know about it until I showed them.
Yeah, absolutely. We forget that really our, the treasure is just right in front of our eyes in terms of more business for our existing clients. It's so much easier to get existing clients to pay you more for additional services than it is to go out and win new clients. Yeah, most of our attention and our money and our time is spent trying to win new clients, but we forget that actually we've got some clients here that want additional service from us, that want additional value for us. So having those conversations can definitely yield fruits for you. Here's a question from Dave, I believe. What is it about QuickBooks that works better for you than Xero, Bev? 100% agree. Reuse what works better for your workflow, but why is QuickBooks specifically better?
Well, let's hope nobody from Xero is watching. But again, I feel, and this is purely my personal opinion, they all do pretty much the same thing, don't they? Xero, I think visually it's nicer. I think it's easier to use for clients. I think the support is better because I believe, hopefully this is still the same, but you've got to email Xero with your questions and support questions, and then they come back to you within 24 hours. Whereas QuickBooks, you can pick the phone up and you can go on the web chat. I just feel it's bank recs. I don't like the bank recs in Xero. I like the bank recs in QuickBooks. So again, it's just personal preference, but I just love QuickBooks.
Fantastic. Tim is asking, what are your KPIs, Bev?
Same as yours, Tim. I copied you. No, I didn't really. So some of the KPIs that I track month on month are obviously my bank balance is a major one. Gross margins, average fee per client. We also track job management stuff, like how many year ends we've finished in the month. We project these beforehand for the next few months ahead to make sure we're on track, because we're trying to get to it where we're getting the year ends done within 3-4 months after the year ends finished. We're nearly there. VAT returns, we try and track those and make sure that they go out before the end of the month rather than them going into the 7 days afterwards. There's quite a few more actually, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Fantastic. Great to see that they're all kind of outcome focused on what is important to clients. So things like turnaround times and how fast we get things done is what we want to be tracking, because we then link what we do to what clients actually want from us. A question here from Tej. Apart from Reza's group, obviously, what are the sources, courses, seminars do you attend to ensure you're on top of the changes and future of the industry?
Well, obviously Reza's, and if you're not in Reza's group, and he's not paid me to say this, but you really need to be if you're not. I'm not even joking. It's been a life-changing experience being in Reza's group. So you embarrassed me at the beginning. I'm doing it back to you now, Reza. But, I'm in a mastermind group with Reza, and there's other accountants in there. We're all in the same boat. We all have the same questions, but in our mind, we feel a bit silly asking these questions because we think, surely we should know the answer to that. But everyone's the same and we're all comfortable and we help each other absolutely massively, and I couldn't be without it. Reza also gives a lot of resources, I just like the VAT project and all the other stuff, the VFO. I wouldn't have been able to do that without all those. I ain't got time to make a brochure up, but it's already there ready for me to rebrand and stuff. But other stuff, In center on my homepage, I've got the accounting. I'm just on it now. I've got the accounting web information. It's called Accounting News in there. So that's always got up-to-date questions and stuff like that that's on Accounting Web. So as I'm in center, I can briefly look at it and think, oh, that looks interesting, click on it and it can take me there. I quite like other magazines and stuff that come out, like the AAT magazine. So I'm registered with AAT. Their magazines and online information are absolutely brilliant. So I attend as many webinars as I can that interest me, and obviously like the latest budget information and stuff like that. So I'm registered a lot with like iRace and things like that. So when they come along, HMRC as well, and when they come along, I'll register and watch those, whether it be live or replay. But I do try and keep on top of stuff as much as possible.
Brilliant. Thank you for sharing that, Bev. Okay, I don't think there are any more questions, but just to finish off with then, Bev, a few kind of quick fire questions from me. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Sorry, you cut out then. What advice would I give to my
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh, find you sooner. Don't wing your pricing like I did. Like I said, you can't go backwards, and I did what I did at the time because I thought it was right, because I didn't know any better. But yeah, focus on your pricing. Please don't think, oh, that's too expensive, they'll never pay that. They definitely will if you show the value to it, because I've done that many times where price something up and thought they're never going to pay that, and they actually do when you break it down and you explain the value of it. Definitely don't do it alone. Don't be naive like me and think you can't be friends with other accountants, because that's the most craziest thing I've ever done. Honestly. So yeah, get a coach, accountancy specific if you're an accountant or bookkeeper. Don't wing your pricing, spend time and effort on it, your systems, and you'll be fine.
Fantastic. Okay, last question we'll take from Tej again. How many people do you have in your practice, Bev, and how much time are you spending doing client work, managing the team, business development, practice development?
Well, that's a big question, isn't it? So there's currently 4 of us. I'm waiting to get another one at the moment, my 5th person. How much time do I spend doing client work? Like I said earlier, I am still very much in the business at the minute, but that's because I like it. And I am still, even though I've been going 14 years, I still feel that I am developing my business, and I know exactly where I want to get to. But I need to be in it and working on it at this time to get to where I want to be. Managing the team, I've got a really good team. They don't really need managing because of the systems I've got in place. Business development, I spend a lot of time on that as well, mainly being in Reza's group and looking at all the resources and attending all his webinars. One thing I do, and I know Reza will agree with me, is that I do, like I said at the beginning, I do take action. There's no point me being in a group and somebody telling me, advising me on what to do, and then don't do it, because it just won't work if you don't do it. So I always take action from every single webinar that I attend at Reza's. And the practice development, and processes, they all sort of go hand in hand with all the business development, really.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Bev. I think we're out of time now, but if you have any questions and you're listening to this on replay, feel free to put them in the comments, and I'm sure when Bev has a minute, she'll be kind enough to answer, because she's quite active on LinkedIn. So if you're not already following Bev, follow her. If you're not already in our great free Facebook group, Transform Your Profits for Accountants, jump in there. It'll be great to have you on. But otherwise, Bev, thank you so much. It's been a real honor and pleasure to have you here and to have been working with you and seeing the successes that you've had over the past 12 months. So keep it going, keep inspiring, keep sharing. And no doubt, if you're listening, you've got some value from today. Let us know in the comments, your one big takeaway was. And just take on board what Bev has done, listen to her advice. And I'm sure if you are in a position that she was a few years ago, you'll be able to get the same results that she has in a much shorter space of time. Have a listen to her, because she's gone before you. So take care, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today and listening. And I'll see you on the next session. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bev.